Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Kameel Majdali.
Well, I think we might describe the things we're talking about in the culture war as bite-sized pieces to help us understand the differences with what's going on between progressives and conservatives. Let's talk about another one of those key issues today that really has become something of an issue between conservatives and progressives, and this is the issue of immigration. Kameel, how do we understand the differences in the way each side thinks?
Simply put, Neil, from the left-leaning progressive side, they view immigration as something that is to be fully embraced to the point of basically if people get on the boats or get on the planes and they want to stay, they should stay. In other words, as one placard in Sydney put it, let them land, let them stay. So it's unfettered and seemingly unvetted immigration. On the other side, the traditional values conservatives, or as one person put it, we called cultural conservationists. We believe in immigration as the voice, but it also says we want it controlled and sustainable. Those are the two positions in a nutshell. But I might also add, it appears that a century ago in the United States, they were having people get on the boats and come straight to America without even passports. My grandfather may have been one of those. Even the ship Titanic, we think of it as an ocean liner for a cruise, but actually the Titanic, from what I can tell, was a migration ship that had, of course, a luxury component to it. So if this was the case that migration a century ago was, you all come down, why was it so successful back then, but it's problematic today? And my guess is this. Back then, people came to the U.S. or to Australia or to any other Western country because they actually wanted to work. And the jobs were available. And furthermore, they believed in melting pot. If they came to work in the United States with the intent to stay, they were going to become Americans through and through. They bought into the system. That's very different to the multicultural mindset that we have today.
Kameel, it's all very well to think about everybody mixing in together and getting on well, but because of cultural and religious differences that come from different nations, there's clearly not an easy mixing together. Is this one of the issues when we are debating and talking through these issues of immigration and the positions that both sides might take?
Well, if you go on the assumption of people willing to work and people willing to melt into the system versus people who don't want to work, or they do want to work, but they don't want to blend into the system, then you're going to have a very different outcome. The American-Australian version, particularly in times gone by, has been very, very successful. Everybody won. Everybody became one big happy family. I know there's exceptions, of course. And I know that some would talk about racism and what have you. But by and large, it couldn't have been too serious a problem because people still kept coming, regardless of how they're treated. And I know there was a maturing process as well involved. As migrants came in, there were the jokes and the slang and the lingo and what have you. But that has really fallen away over recent years. So back to the point, migration is good. And I believe everyone agrees with that. It's how you handle it. And not only the criteria of entry, but what happens once they land. Once those policies and the culture have accepted a good position, then we can be back on a winning streak yet again.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Kameel Majdali from Teach All Nations. Find articles, videos and podcasts from Dr. Kameel, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future in the Vision app or at vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.